Hey everyone, welcome back to MTech. And today I'm going to show you how to replace your cluster bulbs in your E36. They come in here, look at mine. If you look here, only half the cluster is lit up. That is because I pulled out the cluster the other day, well, a while ago, to pull out the transmission warning light for the manual swap. And when I did that, the filaments inside the bulb that's here and here just completely broke. So only like a third of my cluster is lighting up now, so good stuff. So I'm going to show you how to replace those today. So the first step is you're going to want to disconnect the negative terminal of your battery. However, when you do that, you have to wait 15 minutes. I'm going to wait a half an hour to be safe. But the SRS system will not disable immediately, so you have to wait a while. And I don't want the airbag going off my face because we do have to remove the steering wheel first to get to the gauge cluster. So you're going to disconnect the negative terminal of your battery. If you have to take that bolt off, that should be a 13, and then you take a flathead and pop it off and then wait. So I'll see you guys back in 30 minutes and show you what to do next. Okay, we're back. The battery's been disconnected for a half hour-ish. So next step is we're going to come under here, and there's going to be a screw right here that you're going to want to take out. Oh wait, except mine does not have the screw because I forgot to put it back in. So the next step is we're going to want to pry off this under panel piece here. I'm going to need both hands for this, but essentially you hold the top piece and then there are tabs here and then also two on the other side. And this bottom piece just kind of comes off and exposes the wires for the airbag and the horn. So I have this piece off. This came off here. You can see there's a hole for the turn signal here. And then this one for the wiper and cruise. So obviously this comes down and now you have your wires, airbag, and then horn. Of course I don't have the horn connected because 3-spoke steering wheel and a 4-spoke car. So now what you're going to want to do is there are going to be Torx screws here and then one on the other side. They're supposed to be T25, except most of them are stripped out because people don't know what they're doing, including myself. So I'm using a T27. I've seen it go up to T30 before they're just completely gone. So I'm going to do that now. Quick little tip, I recommend that you buy a bit, I guess I'll call it, for your ratchet, because fitting a screwdriver in here can become very difficult. Because then you can do it like this, and you don't have to, you know, mess around with the screwdriver, going at awkward angles. I actually bought this specifically for this job because it was so difficult with a screwdriver. All right, I think we'll call that good. Now you'll know that you've got it because your airbag you'll have a lot of play in it. So I'm gonna hit the other side now and then the airbag will just come off. Sorry, I stand corrected from before. This is how you know that your airbag is fully loose. I've been going back and forth and been like, why is it not coming off? So this is how you know you're done. So now your airbag is gonna come out and you have a wire attached to there. You're just gonna pull off this yellow guy. And then you're going to take your airbag and set it down somewhere safe. I'm going to put it down here. Then you just got the big guy in the middle there. So if we come up here, we have our 16mm sockets. You're going to stick it on there. Something to note, this guy, if you've never had your steering wheel off before, which I have, so this isn't going to be that hard for me. If you haven't, grab a breaker bar, grab a friend, and you'll have a lot of fun with this. Or an impact, that would be really easy. Something to note, do not use your steering wheel lock or your steering rack to get this bolt off, like to hold the steering wheel in place. Because if you do, you can break those components because, yeah, you could very easily, especially steering lock, it's pretty fragile. So you're going to want to take your key and put it in the ignition. Turn it to the 2-step position so that your steering wheel lock is now off. And then make sure your steering wheel is centered. Get your socket on there, or your ratchet rather. I'm not going to use an extension because I think I have one of the adjustable heads. And then you're just going to pop it off. So, see how easy mine broke? Now, mine's coming off. Oh, so there we go. Mine's off. Keep this somewhere safe. I'm probably going to tighten it a little harder than it was because that probably should have been a little tighter in that. But now that you have this off, I'm going to set this down. You're going to want to pop your steering wheel off Well, first disconnect the wires underneath, and then you're going to want to pop your steering wheel off. It'll just pull off straight. Make sure when you, like, the steering wheel is straight when you pull it off, so that when you put it back on, it lines up these splines here in the middle. So now you guys can see I got the steering wheel off. So what's next? Gauge cluster's coming out next. It is 2 screws here. 1, 2. They are Torx screws. Unfortunately, I do not know what size they are. I know they are T20 or less. My screwdriver here does not say a sizing on it. I just got a set of screwdrivers from Harbor Freight. So you guys want to pick yourself up a set of that. It's like $10 for Phillips flathead Torx. Really nice set. But anyway, or if you have your ratchet with the attachments, that'd actually be the best for this. But I'm just going to be using this to get these 2 screws out. Okay, so we got my 2 screws out. I'm going to keep these in a safe place. Do not lose those. So now the next thing you're going to do is the cluster is going to come out this way. Generally, what I do is I take a credit card, I stick it in there, pull it out. I don't have a credit card with me. Instead, I have a little warranty card thingy. And I'm going to stick it in there. Really, you just want to get something in that gap. And then you're just going to kind of use it to pry out the gauge cluster. Eventually, you're going to get play in your cluster, so that's good. Leave that for now. Now, there's one more step. There's a little screw in here. It's a Phillips. So that's the screw right there. And that's essentially holding this piece in place because you need to get this off in order to make room for the cluster. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick voiceover here. So the trim at the top of the steering column there, you don't actually have to take it out. I kept saying you have to take it out, but you don't. I just have not done this in a little while, so I forgot. You just want to get the screw out so that there's movement and play in order to pull the cluster out. Because without the play in there, I don't see how you could get the cluster out. I've seen some people leave the steering wheel in, just squeeze it out. I have never been able to replicate that. So I'm going to leave off at a spot that might not make sense. So just try to follow along from where we pick up and enjoy the rest of the video. Play in here so that you can actually get movement, so when you're trying to work the cluster out, you can get it out and disconnect it. So I'm going to go ahead and get the plugs off behind the cluster. It's very hard to show. Like I'd probably need another cameraman to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the cluster out, and I'll show you guys what I kind of did after. All right, so I got the gauge cluster out. Here are how there are 3 connections. So this black guy's all the way on the left, blue one kind of here, and then white like here. These all work the same way. I'll just reset this for demonstration purposes. So it'll be in there like this, right? And there's this clip here, and then this little tab. You push this tab down, and then you push the white clip up. This is going to be really hard with one hand. I was unable to get it with just my one hand, so I had these 2. But essentially, once you push the tab in, this will flip up and lock. This is the tab I'm talking about right here. You see it kind of goes in. Excuse my long nails. It actually kind of helped during this job. But yeah, you push that clip in, and then this thing flips up, and then that's how all these work, even the black one. And then they let it out. These wires do not have a lot of give, and be very careful. They're brittle and old, so they will want to break on you. So now that you have your cluster out, you'll turn it over, and you will see a bunch of different bulbs. So your main bulbs, the ones I'm going to be replacing, is 1, 2, and 3. These 3 control the backlight of the cluster, so the one that when you turn your lights on, the lights come on in your cluster. These ones down here are engine light, ABS, that stuff, and then this guy right here is traction control. It tells you right here which one's which, so you can kind of have an idea of which ones to pull out. I will link in the description below Amazon affiliates link for the bulbs that I bought off of Amazon that I'm going to be using to replace these. I'm going to replace a couple of these down here. These bulbs are also shared with your OBC. Your OBC is 3, so 1, 2, 3, which I'm also going to be replacing because my OBC is really dim. So how you get these off is you grab pliers and these green things, just twist. And then, well, actually, these bottom ones are flathead. These green ones, you grab pliers, you twist them, and then they come out. So I'm gonna do that now. Okay, so I took the gauge cluster out so that it'd be easier to show you guys in the light. This is the middle one here is the part number for the bottom bulb down here and for your OBC bulb. I don't know what these guys are, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull these green guys out. I'll just do the middle one here. So there you have it. This is the dirty old bulb, and that is totally out. Yeah, so I'm gonna be replacing this. Okay, so I've got my new bulb in there. Sorry I couldn't show it on camera, it was kind of hard. The old one, just pop it out and then pop your new one in. And then obviously the same way it came out, you put it back in and it twists in. It's gotta kind of catch. It's like if you've ever had your tail lights out, it's kind of like the bulb sockets from your tail lights. It like clicks in to a track, and then you just gotta get it back in. Okay, so that's back in. That's one new bulb. Now we just have 2 to go. I'm gonna go ahead and do all this off camera. If you want to do these bottom ones, it's the same thing, except you have a little slit here for a flathead. You can use pliers if you want, although I wouldn't take these grimy things to there. I would just use a flathead. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace all the bulbs, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, so I got everything all buttoned up. If we come in here, everything works just like it should. I hope that concludes this tutorial. If you liked, leave a comment, subscribe. More content coming in the future. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.